Of course, I'll cough right at the beginning. All right, John, this is, uh, I'm hoping this video will help you kind of understand possible things to look at with eBay for improvement. So I see that you have had some sales. That's really good to see. It looks like most of them are recent. So that makes me wonder if you have just recently started doing all this, although we do go back into November there. So um, seeing quite a bit more activity here in the last couple months, January and starting here in February. My guess is you added more products during that time or made improvements um, to the titles or something. So let's talk a little bit about titles and keywords, because that's going to be one of the main things that you will look at here and that I noticed. So we'll take this sheepskin care brush first, and I notice you've got wool card or slicker brush all here. So what I did is I did some research on each of those keywords, and so we'll back up here and let's just look at this. Wool card brings 405 results for completed listings. However, if you look at this, a lot of them are not related to your product. There's your item that's sold. And so here we've got a lot of results, but they aren't relevant. And as I looked at this and started researching, I saw a different keyword right here. They're using wool carder. And so I thought, well, I wonder if that would show something different. And so I changed my search to wool carder. And sure enough, now as we look at this, we got 124 results, and look at those. Everything is coming up as a relevant item. And so it seems to me that the terminology we want to use there is not wool card, but wool carder. And so for that particular item, I think that is a key word that will be very powerful, very important, and valuable for you. And we can change this to show 200 listings. We've only got 124, but as we scroll through those, you can see just about every listing that's sold with that keyword is the carder. Okay, so now let's make one adjustment with wool carder. We're going to take off completed listings, take off sold. There we go. So now we're seeing 111 active items that are on there, and as I look through those, I see a lot of them that are pairs, and a lot of them that are vintage or antique. And so that makes me think that the majority of what's out there that is, well, obviously the majority that's for sale, but maybe the majority of what people are actually looking for is antique type items, vintage items. So 111 active with 124 sold, and many are coming from overseas. So these are all things that we can research and determine what we need to do to change our eBay and improve our eBay. So as we look at these keywords, what are we seeing that is consistent? Wool carder, single or pair. So I'm seeing a lot of that pair, and if we do a search on the page, I see out of 124 results, 43 are using the word pair. So they're selling them in pairs. We can see price point is actually pretty good. You're right there with the price point. In fact, you could probably raise your price point and be okay. Although many of these, yeah, they're pairs, but it depends. So there's a pair that went for 19. They're vintage. The other thing to look for is other keywords. You know, wool cleaner, yarn tool, carding comb. And so those are things that we might search for. And if we do a Control F again and search for carding, I don't see that as often. But let's throw it up here. And from 124 we go to 334, but again we're seeing this card up here. I'm not sure why that is happening, that they're putting, when we're looking for carding, we're seeing that. So that's not going to, so carder is going to be a better term for that. Then the next one is maybe cleaner. We could search for cleaner, so let's do that. And there we're seeing a lot of terms that are not, or a lot of products that are not relevant. So I think carder is going to be your most valuable phrase for that particular item. So that's what I would do on each one of these, is I would go in and do some research on them to find out if there are other keywords that might be more valuable for us. Let's take the, this is another one of your items that is actually a popular seller. As I look through your listings, you've sold several of the slippers. Slippers, these, yep, slippers, moccasin. So there we see several of those. So we can take this keyword right there, and I'm just going to put it right over here. Sheepskin moccasin slippers, 3,171 results compared to how many active? 65, so about 50% sell-through rate. So that's pretty good. What if we remove slippers? Oh, that's interesting. Only 3, that doesn't make sense. 3 results. Sheepskin moccasin. I don't know why it's saying 3 when we're seeing much more than that, actually. Well, not a lot more. Okay, so that tells me that it's the slippers is the primary keyword that is being used there then. Oh yeah, get rid of moccasin. We got 11,600. How many sold? 5,000. So again, still 50%. Now that doesn't mean we want to remove moccasin from the keyword. We don't want to do that at all. The more keywords we have that are relevant, the better. Okay. What we might try doing is putting in shoes, or even loafers or other keywords like that. I don't think indoor-outdoor is valuable in the title. Honestly, I don't think made in the USA is valuable in the title. For is a wasted word. Men maybe, and is a wasted word. Women. So this title should read more like this. I would get rid of that, maybe put a comma, get rid of that. You don't even need the comma, honestly. And then we look at these that sold. We've got suede as a keyword. We've got slip-on. And I don't know if that's relevant. That looks like it's relevant, so yeah, we could do that. 256 results for the word slip. What about slip on? Okay, not as much, so that's probably not as big a deal. Outdoor, not a lot of that. Indoor, Not a lot of that. And so if it's not being used, chances are it's not being searched for. Okay. And so if you can't find other relevant keywords to put in there, then that's where you might want to use terms like outdoor, indoor. Let's see if there are other women sheepskin slippers. Black, so the color is something that might be valuable. There's gray, dusk. So honestly, I think the most valuable key phrase here is sheepskin slippers. I think if we've got that in there, we're going to be good. Moccasins is going to add a few more possible searchers seeing our listing, but I'm not seeing a lot of other phrases that we need to worry about. Notice here we don't see a lot of the men. Put a space before it and in front. We don't see a lot using the word men. Space, women. There are a lot of women, so it's probably not going to hurt to do men, women. I think I would leave those in there. I think indoor, outdoor is probably okay to put in. I think natural, tan, leather, those all might be options to put in there. But yeah, I'm not seeing a lot of other terms. Slip on maybe, but I don't think so. It just isn't used very much. So that right there is a far better title than this one here. Okay, and you can do that research just like I did. Just go and research sold listings and look at the sold items, not active, because the sold items are the ones doing something right. Okay, those are the ones that have gotten attention from people, and so we definitely want to look at those keywords that they're using and make sure we are using similar keywords or the same keywords in our titles. Okay, so you could do that with every one of these. We could go and take this sheepskin steering wheel cover and run the same kind of search and do that research. There we only have 127 sold results on that, so it's not, and this is 3 months of results, by the way, and so it's not a high expectation of sell through. If we take that off, so we're looking at 236, so half of what's listed is selling within a 3-month period, or around that 50%, which is good. That's a great sell-through rate, but it's just not a huge number of items. And with all of the competition out there, you're not going to sell 100 of these a month, right? This is going to be a 2 or 3 type an item per month at most. So if we look back at your listings, you can see you had one in December, or one in November, one in December, one in January. So that's pretty much what I would expect. So one a month, perhaps. So if we dial in the keywords properly on all of your listings, then you have a better chance of seeing sell through on those items. And so that's what I would do with each of your items. Every single one of these, I would go through and enhance those titles based on your own research, as I've just shown you. As I said in the email, one of the things that I think will be very valuable is to start learning more about marketing a website, building a website, the optimization and the keyword research for a website, because as you get into that area of working with website, you're going to understand keywords a lot more, learn a lot more, and be able to grow your business. And so that is something that I think would be very valuable to do.